I would like to talk about the importance of employer branding and how employer branding can be enhanced through careful attention to organizational justice in hospitality industries, in tourism industries. We know the importance of branding. It is very important for organizations and also destinations to make sure that they have a clear brand. And we know that a good brand can really enhance the attraction of customers or visitors to a product, service, or a destination. So branding, the importance of branding in general, I believe is well understood. Strong brands will establish trust. Therefore, people will not be hesitant to take the extra step in order to visit, in order to purchase. And with a strong brand, you are contributing greater value. The perception of value allows people to pay more for the service or the product. Whereas without a strong brand, you really have difficulty in competing with the brands that are better known than yours. Now, although we have this understanding in terms of marketing, I think we still have a long way to go in understanding the issue of employer branding, which is branding of the institution, branding of the hotel, branding of the restaurant, or branding of a location as a good employer. Because as an employer, we are attracting talented employees. Just like organizations are competing with each other to attract customers, we are also competing with each other in order to attract talented individuals that will be working with us. And the ability to attract and the ability to retain talented individuals can make a big difference in our competitive advantage. As an organization, we may get competitive advantage because of our location, because of our level of capital, because of our economies of scale, because of unique products, unique technology. However, many of these sources of competitive advantage may not be unique to us. Our competitors can copy. You may have a different product or a service that is unique to you, but somebody else can replicate this. Therefore, the sources of competitive advantage that you can get from the capital that you have or a unique product or technology can be copied by your competitors. Therefore, they are not sustainable in terms of allowing you to maintain that competitive advantage. However, one source of competitive advantage is very difficult to replicate, and that is your human resources. If you are able to attract and retain the talent, which is better than your competitors, that competitive advantage can be sustained. You may be thinking, but can't other organizations or other destinations, can't they steal some of our employees? Yes, they can, but they are not going to steal your organizational culture, because the organizational culture is actually the values, the norms that have been created among your human resources. So by taking away one employee, two employees, you do not lose the competitive advantage that you have achieved through your human resources. So in tourism and hospitality especially, we have to admit to ourselves that it's not easy to attract talent because of the working conditions, because of the reputation of some of the hospitality organizations. They are seen as not easy places to work in. Also, we see in terms of gastronomy and culinary arts, we see a lot of bad role models. We see a lot of chefs that are rude to their co-workers. We see a lot of these people perhaps being rude to others that are working for them. You know, the chaotic environment of the kitchen. So a lot of the people that may be interested in employment may prefer other avenues of employment. And we should not disregard this. We need to work on the employer branding. We need to improve the employer branding of the gastronomy and hospitality industries. We need to ensure that more and more talented young people are attracted to the industry and to our organization. How can we achieve this? At first, I used to think that the key to attracting and retaining talent is keeping the employees satisfied, giving them higher levels of pay, making them comfortable. However, we conducted a study. We measured the job satisfaction of employees in the hospitality industry. We tried to see if those people that had higher levels of job satisfaction would have higher levels of performance. And the way that we measured performance was by looking at organizational citizenship behavior. So we looked at whether they were performing beyond their regular job descriptions. And how did we measure that? We checked to see if they were willing to help their coworkers even when they are not asked or forced by their employer. Or we checked to see if they were willing to stay even if they were not going to get extra overtime pay. So these kinds of what we call extra role behaviors. And at the beginning, we assumed people that would have high level of job satisfaction would always be higher in terms of providing extra performance, that they would perform better. When we looked at the data, when we were analyzing the data, we were surprised to see that we could not establish a strong relationship between job satisfaction and performance of the employees. We could see that there were some employees that were very satisfied, however, they were not performing well. On the other hand, we could see some that were not so satisfied, but they still kept on performing well. So we thought something is missing in this equation. We investigated further. We conducted other studies where we also checked the perception of justice. We checked whether the employees felt that the organization was fair. We didn't just ask them if they were satisfied with their pay, but we asked them, is the pay system in your organization fair? does it reward you based on your effort? When you compare your effort to the effort of other people, does it seem like there is a fair system of distribution? So we checked for the perceptions of justice or fairness. And when we controlled for organizational justice, we realized that among the group that felt the organization was fair and there was organizational justice, when job satisfaction increased, you would see a huge increase in the organizational citizenship behavior or the performance of the employees. Therefore, we realized that job satisfaction, keeping people just content or happy by giving them adequate pay or good working conditions, was not enough to achieve performance and the retention of the talented employees in the organization. You also need to provide the justice, a fair environment. And how can we create a fair environment in our organizations? That is the important question. How do we develop fairness perceptions of our employees and thus also become more attractive to future employees so that they are willing to come and work in our industry or in our organizations? The way that we can improve organizational justice can be discussed in three dimensions. One of these is to make sure that our reward system takes into consideration the issue of internal fairness, that we reward people not just based on the number of years that they have been working with us, or we don't just reward them based on this is the industry pay level, so this is what we are going to pay you, but we take into consideration the amount of effort that they have shown and that we differentiate based on their efforts, that we reward those that are contributing more. In addition to this, and this is what we call the distributive justice. In addition to this, people want to see clear rules and procedures in the organization. If we don't create some clear rules, everything depends on the initiative of the manager. And that does not provide to the employees the feeling of security, the feeling of safety. When we have proper rules and procedures, the decisions are based on the rules. It's not based on the person. So as the step towards becoming more institutional, organizations need to develop rules and procedures in how they will manage their employees. And this will range from how do we select employees, how do we reward employees, how do we train them, how do we measure their performance. All these have to be based on some rules and procedures that we have developed. And the third way that we can achieve increased perceptions of organizational justice is if we can ensure that our managers keep an equal distance with all the employees. Naturally, the managers may feel closer to some employees than others. However, they need to understand that as managers, they need to go beyond their feelings and they need to ensure that they keep the same distance with the people that they like and with the people that they do not like. Otherwise, you cannot have a professional relationship between the manager and the employees. Therefore, these three factors, the distributive justice, which is making sure that people are rewarded based on their contributions, the procedural justice, making sure that you develop some rules and procedures in how the decisions in the organization is going to be made, and finally, the interactional justice, which is making sure that the manager has fair relations with all the employees and doesn't have some favorites in the organization. When you introduce these, the organization is able to develop as an attractive employer, and it can retain their talented employees. It doesn't risk losing the talented employees. This can help to build an employer brand. What I want to leave you with is the idea that we are not just competing with other organizations or other industries or other destinations. We are not just competing for customers or visitors. We are also competing for talented employees. And we need to think about, just like we consider our brand as an organization in attracting customers, we need to think about what is the message that we give to future prospective employees. Are we able to attract the kind of talent that we should be attracting? And instead of complaining that it is difficult to find employees, of course it is difficult. Everybody is competing for employees, just like everybody is competing for customers. It's difficult to find visitors, customers. So we need to do something as an industry to be able to establish a better employer brand. Thank you very much for listening.
We would like to thank Professor Dr. Cem Tanova for his speech. The keynote sessions has ended. Hope to see you in the first sessions at 10:30 a.m. Welcome to our conference again. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Dr. Mehmet, I would like to say some words, finalizing words. Really, we get very, very important informations and good lecture from our professors, from Professor Murat Aydıvay and Cem Tanova. Thanks so very much to everyone, to our president, rector, and other participants, everyone, again, and see you at the sessions soon. Thank you.